We're next to one of the busiest highways going into San Luis Obispo, and smack dab in the middle is City Farm. We're going to find out why and how. Welcome to Fun to Know with Carol. I'm Carol Chenot. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. We're here every week to help you connect with your curiosity. And it is a curious thing to find a farm in the middle of the city. So I was interested in finding out more about it and scheduled a time to talk with Kayla Rutland, the executive director. Let's see if she can give us a tour and help ease that curiosity. So hi, Kayla.
Hey.
Kayla's here with Goose, the farm dog. Is that
official
accurate?
title? Farm dog. Yeah.
All right. So why don't you start us off just by telling us how you happen to be in this location and what this all is?
Yeah. So this is City Farm SLO. We are on 19 acres of city-owned land that we lease from the city of SLO. We've been here since 2014, and this is part of the Calle Joaquin Ag Reserve. This basically is the culmination of a community vision where the community members came together starting decades ago and decided that they wanted this land to be preserved in perpetuity for ag use. So our organization basically was formed to be stewards of this land and to manage the land in sustainable ag use. Our 19 acres starts up by Highway 101, so we truly are just hidden in plain sight, a true urban farm. And then it's a long parcel of land bordered by the car dealerships on, well, to the right of the camera, and then the new San Luis Ranch housing development to our left. Part of the housing development will also remain in ag use, which is great. That's the other piece of the Calle Joaquin Ag Reserve. And then the parcel extends all the way back to Froome Ranch Road, where the new bridge has been put in. Of the 19 acres, about 15 of those acres are subleased out to independent organic farmers, and that's part of our organization's mission, is to enable sustainable farming by those farmers by providing affordable land leases and reliable water and other supportive services. And then the parcel that we're standing on here is what our nonprofit uses as an educational garden space for our youth programs. And then also we model regenerative agriculture here for kids in our programs, but then also aspiring farmers, interested community members, anyone that wants to come and learn about our practices.
So regenerative agriculture, that's a new term for me. So tell me more about what that is.
Sure. Our farm manager could tell you a lot about that. He's the true expert. But it's really an umbrella term that encompasses a wide variety of practices, and the overarching goal is to, rather than sustain the health of our land or our soil, it's really to improve the health of our soil over time. So some of the practices that fall within the scope of regenerative agriculture is to not till our soil. So actually you can see in these rows, you can see how our soil is built up. We're adding a lot of heavy applications of compost, so we're never actually tilling. Sometimes we do a light broad fork, so we dig down a little bit and lift the soil gently just to aerate, but we're never actually flipping the soil over. And so by not tilling, we're actually able to sequester carbon over time.
Oh, wow.
Which is a climate change mitigation strategy.
Goose.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. So that's one practice in regenerative agriculture. We have animals that are integrated on our farm. We have a flock of sheep, some chickens, and they work as part of our practices as well. So we rotationally graze them. They eat down cover crop, they fertilize as they move around, and they're over time improving the health of our soils as well. Yeah, there's a ton of different practices that we're using. We over here have a really extensive composting system. We have a 3-bay thermophilic compost, which is like the traditional pile that you might use at home. We also have vermicomposting, which is worm composting. That's this system here. It's a flow-through system where the worms are fed in the top.
Oh, wow.
And then we harvest the compost from the bottom, which is really neat and a really valuable product. And then we also have a Johnson Sioux aerobic bioreactor, which are the tall black cylinders, and those produce a fungally dominant compost, which is also really valuable here. They're inoculated with native fungal species, and so that's really beneficial when we add it out into our field crops.
Yeah, yeah. Now, do any of these byproducts, are they all used here, or would you sell them to anyone?
We use them here, and sometimes when folks want some of our the product of our bioreactor, because of it's pretty unique, and you can start another bioreactor with the product of a mature one. We'll give that to people who are interested in recreating this process, because we want to see it happen in other places.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the old sourdough starter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay, good. And what about the actual crops that you pick? Tell us where those go.
Yeah, those are all sold locally. So we sell on Harvestly, which is an online farmers market. The web address is harvestly.co. That online farmers market delivers anywhere in the county for $5. They're great partners of ours. And then we also sell to a couple restaurants. SLO Provisions is one of them. And then we sell to the school districts as well, which is really cool because a lot of the students from those school districts are out here in school programs or in our partnership school programs, and they're actually growing the crops that they then see in their school lunches. So it's a really nice full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in elementary school back in Ohio, we had a community garden that was quite extensive as well, and I just remember how meaningful that was to me as a child. Yeah,
that's I mean,
great.
that's what we're doing here is youth programs, and we do think they're very meaningful.
Sure.
That's why we exist. So
yeah. Well, what have been some of the challenges of being in this location and just getting started? What would you say your biggest challenges are?
Yeah, so initially when we kind of got the initial lease on the land, we had to install an irrigation system. That was before I was with the organization, but that was a really expensive capital project to install this state-of-the-art irrigation system. So definitely fundraising for that. But now that we have it, it's a huge asset. And then it's amazing the challenges that come up when you're just a small independent farmer. And so that's kind of in one way how we function as an organization is that we're farmers and we are selling crops to our community, and that's one way that we support ourselves as an organization. And that's just honestly, it's hard to make it farming. So there's a lot of costs to using these practices, and then accessing markets is a challenge. Finding good labor is a challenge. So there's plenty to go around.
Okay, lots on the challenge front. Well, this channel, of course, is called Fun to Know.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most fun to know thing that people would probably not be aware of with farming or with a nonprofit? Anything that you think?
There's so many things.
Okay. What's the most fun for you?
I think it's really fun to have students out here. So we have a field trip program with K through 6th grade. And so the whole classrooms come out for 2 hours. And a lot of these kids, even though they live in San Luis Obispo County, might not have ever been to a farm before. And so the look on a kid's face when he pulls a carrot out of the ground is just amazing.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of kids out this week. And the lesson was about plant parts. And basically we were answering the question, can you eat all 6 parts of a plant? And kids were fascinated when they found out that you can eat roots, and carrots are roots and beets are roots. And so that's I think the most fun is seeing kids learn here. And that, like you said, you really keep that with you, and we hope to inspire young kids to be interested in agriculture or interested in taking care of their land and their environment, and then beyond that we really hope to provide opportunities to young people to actually enter the agricultural workforce and give them the training and skills to do that successfully.
Yeah. So let's take a little field trip of our own. And
Yeah.
you can just point out for us what it is we're looking at here.
Yeah, totally. So right now we're in February, so we're growing a lot of our cold crops. So we're gonna have a lot of leafy greens, brassicas. So we have curly kale, we have cabbage. This is green garlic, which is, I think, the best way to eat garlic. You can harvest it young before it fully matures, and then you actually, instead of using a dried bulb, you can use the whole stalk and even those leafy green parts, and it's a little bit more delicate and mild in flavor, and it's amazing.
That's fun to know.
Yeah, it is so good. You should definitely try it. These big giants are fava beans.
Oh.
Have you ever had fava beans?
No.
Oh my God, they are also amazing. I just really like pan frying them. We just harvested them, but I'll grab you a pod because they're huge. This one's pretty small, but
Oh my.
yeah, still big. You can eat them raw. Most people cook them. So this one isn't fully mature, but that's what it looks like.
Wow.
You can have it if you want.
Okay.
They're better cooked in olive oil and salt and pepper, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
They're very good. Celery.
Sweet.
This is a flowering hedgerow. We always keep flowers on the farm to attract pollinators and beneficials. Broccoli, cauliflower, kale, beets down there. So, like I mentioned, this is our educational garden space. So we always have students working out here. And then over there, we have our sheep. And then our hoop house is a cool place to check out as well.
Yeah, good. So do you use other volunteers?
Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities for volunteers here. Every second and fourth Saturday, we have volunteer days, volunteer mornings, so from 9 to noon. And then every Tuesday, we have harvest volunteer days. And so that's, Tuesdays are our main harvest days. And so we have a trained crew of volunteers that come out every Tuesday and help us with that.
Okay.
It's been like really cold at night. We've started our tomatoes in here already, which is wild. But we've double covered them. So the hoop house gets closed at night, and then they're also under this fleece to hopefully keep them alive. Looking good.
Wow. I love the colors. They're
Yeah.
just so beautiful. So thank you, Kayla. This really has been fun for me to find out more about City Farm, to learn more about you and all the great work you're doing here, and seeing all the colorful crops, the animals, the composting, all of that. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Sure. Thanks so much for coming. It was great to have you.